Over the weekend, Trump had a birthday party. It was a terrible failure. Nobody came. Well, there were a few people that came, but it was terribly boring. Even he was falling asleep. It was a terrible failure of a butt-fluffing parade. This is the headline from Rolling Stone. Trump's military birthday parade was a gross failure. The president's military parade, which reportedly cost up to $45 million, was short on attendees, long on political speeches. Barack Obama weighed in and said that it was very small. I'm totally sure that this happened because it's on the internet. Now, this picture may or may not have happened, but what I do know is this dude is embarrassed because everybody is laughing at him. And because everybody is laughing at him, he had to wake up. He was angry. He had feelings. And so now he is trying to strike back at people. He woke up and he's on his Lie social page and he's signing executive orders because him mad. Him mad because his parade was a big old failure. His birthday party was a failure. But now let's look at some news. Trump promises expanded immigration crackdown after No Kings protests. Because these protests were successful, they were way more lively than his boring birthday, and it had millions of people protesting him across thousands of cities in the United States, actually globally. But that's the reason why he woke up mad today. This statement comes amid questions over whether ICE, reportedly $1 billion over budget, is set to run out of money. Trump has promised an expanded immigration crackdown in several Democratic-led cities as apparent vengeance for No Kings protests against his administration on Saturday that drew millions of people despite questions over whether the agency in charge of the effort is set to run out of money. In new reporting on Monday, Axios claimed the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, was about $1 billion over budget and set to run out of money in the next 1 to 3 months. The outlet noted that Trump's One Big Beautiful bill directed tens of billions of dollars to ICE over the next 5 years and suggested Trump would direct other government funds to the agency if the bill failed to pass Congress. Trump raised the specter of an expanded immigration crackdown in a lengthy Sunday night post to his Lie social network, alleging, without evidence, that cities had become the core of the Democratic power center by using illegal aliens to expand their voter base. Let's look at his post on his Lie social page. Bear with me, y'all know that this dude rambles. It says, our nation's ICE officers have shown incredible strength, determination, and courage as they facilitate a very important mission, the largest mass deportation operation of illegal aliens in history. Every day, the brave men and women of ICE are subjected to violence, harassment, and even threats from the radical Democrat politicians. But nothing will stop us from executing our mission and fulfilling our mandate to the American people. ICE officers are herewith ordered by notice of this truth to do all in their power to achieve the very important goal of delivering the single largest mass deportation program in history. And y'all know, because I've said it, these random capitalizations is just so irksome to my soul. But then he used the word herewith. And he's making proclamations via Lie social. Like literally, this is how he is doing government, via social media. This is weird. In order to achieve this, we must expand efforts to detain and deport illegal aliens in America's largest cities such as Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, where millions upon millions of illegal aliens reside. These and other such cities, why is cities capitalized, are the core of the Democratic power center, where they use illegal aliens to expand their voter base, cheat in elections, and grow the welfare state, even though red states tend to be welfare states and are not making enough money to actually support their own state. But okay. Robbing good-paying jobs and benefits from hardworking American citizens. These radical left Democrats are sick of mine, hate our country, and actually want to destroy our inner cities. And they are doing a good job of it. There is something wrong with them. That is why they believe in open borders, transgender for everybody, and men playing in women's sports. What is transgender for everybody? Does that mean we're all going to get a transgender in the mail or something? What is that? What does this even mean? And he continues with, and that is why I want ICE, Border Patrol, and our great and patriotic law enforcement officers to focus on our crime-ridden and deadly inner cities and those places where sanctuary cities play such a big role. You don't hear about sanctuary cities in our great heartland. No, not in our heartland. The heartland that is supported by these blue states that are actually donor states because they actually make money in the blue cities, in the blue states, because they're productive. And if these states, like a state of California, were to secede from America, that would really destroy these welfare states, these impoverished red states that are welfare states and taker states. Obviously, he didn't put all of that in his live social post. I just really feel like open borders, I'm still unsure why it has to be capitalized. And what is transgender for everybody? What does that even mean? Are we all turning transgender, or are we going to get our own personal transgender person coming to our home? Someone please let me know so I can plan for it, because groceries are expensive, so I would really have to budget them in. All right, let's get back to the article. The California city, as in LA, the California city has become a flashpoint for protests against ICE raids, with Trump sending in National Guard troops and U.S. Marines in an unprecedented show of force. On Saturday, it hosted one of the largest No Kings demonstrations in the country, with an estimated 200,000 in attendance, according to organizers. Trump's stance on immigration has fluctuated wildly in recent days. Last week, his administration ordered ICE to stop workplace immigration enforcement actions unless related to criminal investigations, in the face of growing public backlash to raids perceived to harm industries with significant proportions of immigrant labor, such as farming and tourism. This dude is a taco. Trump always chickens out. He goes back and forth because he has no foresight. He types some stuff really early in the morning or really, really late at night. And then someone whispers in his ear like, dude, this is going to really jack up some stuff. And then he goes back and he makes another proclamation. This is how he is running the government. This dude should not be running a turnkey lemonade stand, yet folks voted him in, and he is an absolute mess. He just keeps going back and forth, and he's really using social media as proclamations. This is really weird. Our great farmers and people in the hotel and leisure business have been stating that our very aggressive policy on immigration is taking very good long-time workers away from them, with those jobs being almost impossible to replace. Well, duh, because you're going after people who are just out there working. So you take these people away, who's going to do these jobs? I don't know what is wrong with these people. All right, so he wrote that on Thursday, promising that changes are coming. Sunday's post, however, appeared to reverse his position again. His choice to identify only Democratic-run cities with large immigration populations and omit others controlled by or leaning Republican, it was notable. His use of the far-right buzzword remigration to describe his administration's deportation agenda is also seen as deliberate. Our federal government will continue to be focused on the remigration, all caps, of aliens to places from where they came and preventing the admission of anyone who undermines the domestic tranquility of the United States. There's tranquility here in the United States? Okay. Trump's statement followed Saturday's military parade, his failure of a butt-fluffing parade in Washington, D.C., which took place ostensibly to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army, but which critics said was hijacked by the president on his 79th birthday as a celebration of himself. And it was a sad, sad celebration. One spectator summed up the general sentiment of the parade as just kind of lame. This is just a reminder of how sparse these rafters were. It was mostly filled with people who had no choice but to be there. And this is the reason why so many people are laughing at him. All right, so let me know what you think about this. We do have more news to get to. Trump's birthday party was a hot mess. Everybody is laughing at him. So he needed to come out and sign something, make a splash with something. And this that he did, This was to distract, but we're still going to laugh at him. We're going to talk about what he signed, but we're still going to laugh at him. All right, so this article says, extremely disturbing and unethical. New rules allow VA doctors to refuse to treat Democrats and unmarried veterans. That is where we're going, telling these doctors that they can refuse based on if a person is a Democrat or unmarried. This is ridiculous. The Department of Veterans Affairs said the changes come in response to a Trump executive order defending women. I'm putting defending women in quotes because what the actual F? What the helly? What the heliante? Doctors at the Department of Veterans Affairs hospitals nationwide could refuse to treat unmarried veterans and Democrats under new hospital guidelines imposed following an executive order by Donald Trump after his failure of a butt-fluffing parade. The new rules obtained by The Guardian also apply to psychologists, dentists, and a host of other occupations. They have already gone into effect in at least some VA medical centers. Medical staff are still required to treat veterans regardless of race, color, religion, and sex, and all veterans remain entitled to treatment. But individual workers are now free to decline to care for patients based on personal characteristics not explicitly prohibited by federal law. Language requiring healthcare professionals to care for veterans regardless of their politics and marital status has been explicitly eliminated. Doctors and other medical staff can also be barred from working at VA hospitals based on their marital status, political party affiliation, or union activity, documents reviewed by the Guardian show. The changes also affect chiropractors, certified nurse practitioners, optometrists, podiatrists, licensed clinical social workers, and speech therapists. In making the changes, VA officials cite the president's January 30th executive order titled Defending Women from Gender Ideology Extremism and Restoring Biological Truth to the Federal Government. The primary purpose of the executive order was to strip most of the government protections from transgender people. The VA has since ceased providing most gender-affirming care and forbidden a long list of words including gender-affirming and transgender from clinical settings. Medical experts said the implications of the rule changes uncovered by The Guardian could be far-reaching. They seem to open the door to discrimination on the basis of anything that is not legally protected, said Dr. Kenneth Kaiser, the VA's top healthcare official during the Clinton administration. He said the changes open up the possibility that doctors could refuse to treat veterans based on their reason for seeking care, including allegations of GRAPE and SA, current or past political party affiliation or political activity, and personal behavior such as alcohol or marijuana use. The Department of Veterans Affairs is the nation's largest integrated hospital system with more than 170 hospitals and more than 1,000 clinics. It employs 26,000 doctors and serves 9 million patients annually. In an email response to questions, the VA press secretary, Peter Kasparovich, did not dispute that the new rules allowed doctors to refuse to treat veteran patients based on their beliefs or that physicians could be dismissed based on their marital status or political affiliation, but said all eligible veterans will always be welcomed at VA and will always receive the benefits and services they've earned under the law. He said the rule changes were nothing more than a formality, but confirmed they were made to comply with Trump's executive orders. Kasparovich said the revisions were necessary to ensure VA policies comport with federal law. He did not say which federal law or laws required these changes. Until the recent changes, VA hospital bylaws said medical staff could not discriminate against patients on the basis of race, age, color, sex, religion, national origins, politics, marital status, or disability in any employment manner. Now, several of those items, including national origin, politics, and marital status, have been removed from that list. Similarly, the bylaw on decisions regarding medical staff membership no longer forbids VA hospitals from discriminating against candidates for staff positions based on national origin, sexual orientation, marital status, membership in a labor organization, or lawful political party affiliation. Dr. Arthur Kaplan, founding head of the Division of the Medical Ethics at New York University's Grossman School of Medicine, called the new rules extremely disturbing and unethical. It seems on its face an effort to exert political control over the VA medical staff, he said. What we typically tell people in healthcare is, you keep your politics at home and take care of your patients. Kaplan said the rules open the door to doctors questioning patients about whether they attended a Trump rally or declining to provide health care to a veteran because they wore a button critical of J.D. Vance or voiced support for gay rights. Those views aren't relevant to caring for patients, so why would we put anyone at risk of losing care that way? Kaplan said. During the 2024 presidential campaign and throughout the early months of his second term, Trump repeatedly made threats against a host of people whom he saw as his political antagonists, including senators, judges, and then President Joe Biden. He called journalists and Democrats the enemy within. In interviews, veterans said the impact of the new policy would probably fall hardest on female veterans, LGBTQ veterans, and those who live in rural areas where there are fewer doctors overall. I'm lucky. I have my choice of 3 clinics, said Tia Christopher, a Navy veteran who reported being raped in service in 2000. Based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Christopher advocates on behalf of military sexual trauma survivors throughout the country. Under the new policy, some may have to register at a hospital in another region and travel more than 100 miles to see a doctor. It could have a huge ripple effect. As concerned as they were about the new policies themselves, medical experts were equally worried about the way they came about. Sources at multiple VA hospitals, speaking on condition of anonymity because of the fear of retaliation, told The Guardian that the rule changes were imposed without consultation with the system's doctors, a characterization the VA's Kasparovich did not dispute. Such a move would run counter to the standards established by the Joint Commission, a nonprofit organization that accredits hospitals. Kasparovich said the agency worked with the Joint Commission to ensure these changes would have no impact on VA's accreditation. At its annual convention in Chicago this week, the American Medical Association's 733-member policymaking body passed a resolution reaffirming its commitment to medical staff self-governance and urges all healthcare institutions, including the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, to ensure that any amendments to medical staff bylaws are subject to approval by medical staff in accordance with Joint Commission standards. The changes are part of a larger attack on the independence of medicine and science by the Trump administration, Kaplan said, which has included restrictions and cuts at the National Institutions of Health and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, where the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr., last week fired every member of a key panel that advises government on vaccines. The Guardian has earlier reported that on a VA edict forbidden agency researchers from publishing in scientific journals without clearance from the agency's political appointees. This is where we are. Do we feel any safer because of all of this? They are cutting healthcare left and right. They are finding any reasons to discriminate that they can find lawfully. And this is where we are as far as what the Trump administration has ushered in. He is literally coming after all people that disagree with him. If people do not believe that fascism is here, we are literally living through this. But taxpayers, even Democrats, have to pay taxes to get discriminated against. That's literally where we are right now. All right, y'all, join the conversation. Let me know what you think about all of this. Don't forget to like, comment, share. If you're not yet following me, go ahead and smash the follow button.